Welcome back to The Rosy Romantic. I'm Bree, and today we're going to be breaking down Maxton Hall Season 2, Episodes 1 through 3. So if you're interested in that, stay tuned. Also, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe because we are almost at 1,000 subscribers, y'all. I'm really excited about that. So tell your aunties, tell your friends, tell your cousins, and let's grab your drinks, grab your snacks, and let's chat. And just to let you know, there will be spoilers throughout this video. So let's jump right in. So we pick up right where we left off, where James is at Ruby's house, and then he sees the family all happy, content, and then that's what he wants, and he has the exact opposite. So for some context, the final episode of season 1, we find out that James' mother has passed away, and that his father kept it from them, from James and Lydia. So James is furious also because James and his mother, like, they had an argument before and he didn't have a chance to, reconcile with his mom, and she didn't have time to reconcile with him. So he definitely has all this like overwhelming emotions. He, of course, he attacks his father because his father is just like, he doesn't communicate. Like, he wants to try to love his children, but it's just not, I don't know, something's not connecting, and I just want him to get it, but I don't know, he's gonna get it.
I kind of feel sorry for you. Oh, yeah.
So you have all these emotions going on with James, and then we have a flashback to the night at Oxford. Okay, so they got together, both Ruby and James. They had this night of love and passion, and we're like, oh my goodness, like, okay, they really love each other, like, so happy for them. And then while they're in this, moment of bliss and happiness, then we're like, oh, snap right back into reality, that it is right now not the case, because we see this car and it's flipped upside down. Okay, I'm thinking that's a Porsche or something, some type of fast car. I'm thinking it's Porsche. So things are not going well. This is, I feel like, a foreshadowing of something that's going to happen. I don't know whether it's James or Ruby in the car. I don't know who's in the car, but I have a feeling, okay, that James is not doing well with his mother, and the news of his mother passing, and things are not going to turn out well in the beginning. So that's where we start out, and I wish James would have told Ruby what happened, because I feel like he would have came in the house, and then Ruby's mom and dad would have been like, oh, like, comforting him, helping him. Someone would have put on some tea, some coffee, and, they would have, been there for him, talking him through, what he's thinking, what he's feeling, all these other things, right? If he just went in the house, but he feels some type of way, he doesn't want to put that on them and Ruby. But that's what people, that love you, they do. Instead, he gets drunk, and he also, I think, does some drugs as well. And he goes to this party, and he's just like, basically not himself. And so Lydia, she knows this like pattern for James, so she's scared. She's trying to go to different places where he might be. One of those places being, Ruby's house, but Ruby's like, he's not here. He was there, but then he went to go get drunk and everything that was going on. So Lydia's like, okay, so if he's not with you, he has really done like a complete 180. And then Lydia's like, I don't know if you want to be here for this. And Ruby's like, no, wherever he is, I need to see him, because, that's my man. That's my man. But the thing is, Lydia, okay, she's in shock of grief. So she's like, I don't have the bandwidth right now to tell you what just happened, and how that my father withheld this information, while we were on the trip, didn't tell us, and things, was hiding things from us. And then also add on top of the fact that Lydia is pregnant with Graham's baby. So there's a lot of things going on, and I forgot that Ruby also knew about Lydia's pregnancy. So that's how their connection is growing, their friendship, because Ruby is so trustworthy and loyal and kind, and it was not like that in the beginning. But now, like, Lydia and Ruby are becoming friends. So she's like, okay, let's see where Lydia's like, let's see where my brother could possibly go. So we see James, and we saw this in the trailer. He was at the party. He's near the pool in the water, which I'm like, this is so dangerous. I was like, he is taking drugs and also, drinking and stuff, and he's near the water. you know, also with other people. I was like, this is so dangerous, and like no one cares. This is me. I'm like, I would be like, bro, you know, we need to, you know, sober you up, make sure you're okay. But no, everybody's like, oh no, he's the life of the party, like whatever. What? So then it gets so bad. Then it gets to the point where James sees Ruby, okay? But he's still in his like drunken state, he's not himself. But he sees Ruby and then proceeds to make out with another girl. Like he takes, you know, those 2 other girls with him in the pool, knowing, you know, what happened last season where Ruby talked about, you know, the accident and, you know, how she feels in the water and she, you know, is afraid of being in that circumstance, and then goes underwater to make out with the girl. I was like, oh, okay, I know the context. I'm glad I know the context. Because by him, on top of that, I forgot. He said, oh, he looked right at Ruby. You don't belong here.
Back up a taste? Just a taste. Just give me some room. Hey. Okay, the door's gonna slam about now.
If I didn't know the context, and this man all of a sudden just got drunk and was just trying, you know, just saying, you know, random cruel things, I was like, oh, I don't belong here? Okay. Yeah, I don't belong here. That's right, because I'm not gonna belong here. I'm not gonna be your side tomorrow, the next day, or the day after that. Bye. Bye. If you, clearly you don't need me, bye. I don't need you. So, yeah, because you don't belong here with me by my side. I get it. Because, yeah, I'm not dealing with this anymore. Like, I'm gone.
In the words of my hero, Miss Mary J. Blige, I'm leaving this firehouse, and I ain't never coming back.
I felt so bad for James because I was like, I know the circumstances that, you know, he went through, but I was like, you need to find another way to channel your emotions healthily, James. And I'm glad you get to explore that in the next couple of episodes, because I was like, you can't be doing this every time something's happening within your life that you completely, you know, throw everything away. All, you know, relationships with your sister, with Ruby, your friends at school, and deciding, are those good friends in your life, or, you know, friends that, you know, are not being a good influence. And clearly the people at the party are not a good influence because no one pulled them to the side. This is what I don't get. No one, okay, was at the party. I know they all have, you know, phones and things, and they were seeing this on TikTok, on Instagram, and not one of his lacrosse friends, not one of his little friends was like, oh, yo, I gotta go to the party, you know, maybe help him out, or at least try, you know, or at least show that to us, like, you know, as the viewer. Because it looks like he's just there, he's partying and stuff, but no one wanted to, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, and maybe try to investigate what's going on, because he, you know, been doing so well, and all of a sudden, like, something happened, like, you're trying to, you know, figure out. Like, with Ruby, I completely understand with Ruby, because she's like, y'all didn't give me any, you didn't give me any context. I just went up here, and then here's my man making out with another woman.
Why you hate me? Why you hate me so much?
I don't hate you. I don't hate you.
And then on top of that, because Lydia is concerned about her brother and she has to get him back home, that Ruby doesn't have a ride, because then Lydia has to stay there until they sober him up and get him, you know, back home. So you have Ruby here. Now she's walking home in the dark by herself. Nothing. I was like, I can't.
The phone's ringing off the hook. What?
So throughout the rest of the night, Ruby cries the whole night through, and I understand it. I'm like, I can't believe that just happened. I can't believe, you know, I had this big night to remember, and with the man I'm falling in love with, and then all of a sudden he cheats on me right in front of me like that, in the pool on top of that, and says that you don't belong here. Okay, so then she wakes up and she realizes that, oh yeah, school, and, you know, my possible entry to Oxford's coming up, and trying to wait on those results, like everything, you know, locks back in, and she's like, oh my goodness. All this life things are going on, and I'm having this, you know, this major breakup I'm going through. So she's like, I I don't know what to do. But then she's like, wait a minute. I'm gonna have my mini waiting to exhale moment. Okay, I'm gonna whip up some stuff. I'm not gonna set anything on fire now. But yeah, I'm gonna rip up some stuff. I'm gonna take his lacrosse, sweatshirt. I'm gonna throw right in the trash. Like, I'm done. Like, you know what, James, you're gonna treat me like trash. I'm gonna put this in the trash. There you go.
Compris? Compris?
And then James is waking up, and he's again dazed and confused because he got blackout drunk, pretty much. And then he starts recalling some things that he did the night before. And he's like, oh no, Ruby. Yeah, Ruby. Okay, like, I know what you went through. It's painful, it's overwhelming, okay? But does not excuse your actions and what you did. Like, you broke her heart. Like, it's not right. It's not right for him to do that. We understand what's going on, James, but you need some help. And that's what Ruby says later on. Then we go back to Ruby's house, and Ruby's really going through it. So Ember, her sister, is like, okay, we need to, all the help that we can get. So Lynn, Ruby's friend, comes over, and she's like, Ruby, I heard, what happened to James. I feel so bad. And then Ruby's like, what happened to him? What about me? Like, what about what he did to me? And Lynn's like, wait a minute. Hold on. Do you know that Cordelia just passed? And then it clicks for Ruby. She's like, okay, now it makes sense to me that why he had that complete 180, why he was, got super drunk, was doing drugs, all these sort of types of things, why he was so cruel to her. And she's like, he was not himself. So now that Ruby knows that James' heart is breaking, Lynn drives her over to James's and Lydia's house. And when Ruby gets there, James is in a really bad way. Like, he's laid out on the floor, there are drugs around, bottles around, and he's just lying very still. So she goes over there to comfort him, and he just falls into her arms and he sobs. And this acting done by Harriet and Damien, like, man, just an excellent job at depicting what he's going through with grieving and basically releasing his feelings, because he had just tried to mask all the pain with the drugs and alcohol. And then Ruby crying for James as he's going through this grief, and Harriet did a really good job as well, seeing how someone is in so much pain and you're trying to help them, but all you can do is just hold them. And I was like, I'm really trying not to cry right now, but it was very emotional scene. But then when Ruby sees that all of these drugs and alcohol were on the floor, she was like, okay, James, you need to get some help. But then James seems to think that Ruby solves all his problems. He's like, as long as Ruby's with me, I'm okay.
Lord, I'm sorry, but your boy's out of line.
And Ruby's like, that's not okay. And also, I know what you did last night. And that does not excuse, because, what was, happening, that your response, your habits, it's unhealthy. So I need you to seek professional help, because I cannot do this. And I cannot save you. And that angers James, and he's like, you know what, get out. Because if you're not going to be there for me, then I don't need you. Ruby's like heartbroken by this, but she's like, but I can't deal with him. I can't deal with him when he's like this. So yeah, James needs to seek professional help, and I'm really glad he does. So then later on, they have Cordelia's funeral, and so you have Mortimer, Lydia, and James, and they're all trying to console each other. Mainly James consoling Lydia, because Lydia hasn't had the chance really to break down, because she's tried to, be strong for her family, for her dad, for her brother, and finally James is able to be there for her. And then we see all of a sudden in the distance, who is that? Who is that in the hat? Walking up, and I was like, okay, is that? I wonder if that's her sister, because I haven't read the books, and I haven't read the books yet. So I'm like, that may be, somebody of the family there. And she strolls up, and I'm like, I don't know if she's supposed to be there as, a good character for them or a bad character. I'm feeling more on the bad side, because I don't know. I feel like if she would have came up more earnestly, but by her showing up late.
Isn't that just awful? Doesn't anyone respect royalty anymore?
I don't know. I feel some type of way about it.
Cheeky.
So then when she meets James and Lydia, Mortimer is like very furious at her, and James tries to take like Ophelia's side, his aunt, and Mortimer is not having it. So he's like, this is why you're, complete utter disappointment, and that's what, your mother thought of you. And I'm like, what, Mortimer? When you know that your child is in a vulnerable state, okay, regardless, number one, saying that you're a disappointment, no. But also on top of that, there being an invulnerable state, then you say that? So of course that James runs off, finds the nearest car, he's driving, and he just drives at this incredibly high speed, and he is, again, doesn't know how to deal with his emotions. So he is basically driving out of control, and that's how he gets in the car accident. I'm like, I need him to go to therapy. So we pick up with episode 2, and James is in the ambulance on the way to the hospital, and right now he's just currently thinking about his mom and their family garden, and this is where they, reconcile, and how she says that he has a good heart, and that they did have a good, relationship, even though they had their ups and downs. And he's seeing that within his mind, has a chance there to be there and embrace his mom, and it's a really beautiful, moving scene. And then we also see that Ophelia's there. Now, at this point, I'm like, okay, so is she like a morally gray character? Because I feel like she's gonna be there for the kids, for James and Lydia. But I am just not too sure of like all of her motives. Like, I don't know. So I think, yeah, she cares for the children, but I don't know all the, motives that she'll have for the future. But thankfully, James is okay. That he, recovers, because I'm like, at that high speed, and that car just kept, tumbling there, I'm like, thank the Lord that he's okay, because I'm like, oh my goodness, James. But Ruby doesn't know anything about this. She is continuing on, with her schoolwork. She's like, you know what? I have, life with James and life without James. I'm focusing on that right now. And she is tasked with leading this charity gala with the Alice Campbell Foundation. The Alice Campbell Foundation raises money to help with as a mental health organization. And to make matters interesting, James is back on the event planning committee. Not because he has to be there, because he wants to be there and he wants to earn back Ruby's trust. And she's like, okay, after you just did this to me, I just want one thing of my own. One thing that I have control over, and then you have to come up here and be like, hey, Ruby.
It's all sunshine and smile.
Hey, let me get sunshine. Let me get sunshine.
Okay, yeah, you can be sunshine.
Yes!
She's like, man, you can't have me have one thing. So right now, Ruby is focusing on that. She's like, okay, I don't have any time right now to think about James, but then James is all that she can think about. So it's just, a lot on her. So with all that going on, in the meantime, you have Lydia, who has her brother who has been recently in an accident. He's going through it, so she's checking in on him. Then she's checking in on the family business, because that's what she really wants to do within fashion. But then it's also, she just found out that she's recently pregnant with Graham's baby, and Graham, I think, is still in that relationship with his wife and things, and he's just continuing to check up on her, but like he can't be with her, but he wants to be there for her. So there's mixed signals all around that. Then also the passing of her mother. That is a lot for Lydia. I was like, oh, girl, that is so much that she's going through, but I'm so glad that she has Ruby there. But later on, she asked Ruby for advice about an OB/GYN, what's a good doctor to go to and see, and Ruby is there for her. She's like, okay, despite that what James put me through, I'm gonna be there for Lydia. And I was like, good on you, Ruby. Love you for that. So she helps her go to this great OB/GYN, and then they find out that Lydia is having twins. And I'm like, oh my goodness. And I think it's later on in the episode 3 that we find out that Graham is now going to be like, he's his deputy principal, so I think assistant principal. I know this is gonna get out. I know this is gonna get out.
Yo, this is mad crazy. I'm pregnant with your child.
that he's just like, you know, celebrating with all the students and things, and then meanwhile he just got Lydia pregnant. And I was like, that man does not just get him out of school. Get him out of school right now. Like, oh. And everybody's like, oh, yay. And then the principal was like, oh, I'm glad I put in my recommendation. I think he was like the headmaster. I was like, no, absolutely not. Get that man out. Get that man out right now. Ruby gets into Oxford. Ruby gets into Oxford. She's been working really hard for this. I was like, I'm happy for my girl. And then James gets an update that his, like, I think application has been stalled because of his mother's passing, and they realize that they're going to set up another interview at a later date and time. And this is what Mortimer, I think, had called the school, informed him about the situation. So James is feeling like he's not going to be there with Ruby, and he feels like he's losing her. So that has him go over to Ruby's house, and they're celebrating her being accepted into Oxford. And he's going up to her going like, Ruby, I need you. Like, I need you to save me. Like, I'm going through a lot. And Ruby's like, look, I can't save you. Finally, I'm like, yes.
Clap!
She cannot save you, James. You want to be able to change, and you want that change for yourself, and she cannot do that. You're your own person. She can't make you happy. Only that you can be able to do that. And I'm glad she was able to tell him and be honest about, you know, her feelings. But she was just very direct to him, and I think that was the, you know, the best way for him to understand that no, you cannot do the same thing you've been doing over and over again. And just because I love you doesn't mean I'm going to overlook the things that you did and that you hurt me. And I want you to be able to love yourself. She wants James to want better for himself, and he does seek out help, which is good, and he's the better for it. And since James is still on the event planning committee, that he is now partnered up with Ruby, and they're trying to get all these things, you know, for the gala. So that's trying to, you know, put them back together. There's also more comedy throughout the season that I'm enjoying. It's funny and it's corny and cheesy, but in the best way possible. Like, I'm like, oh, they're actually trying to make me laugh. Like, in season 1, it was like very serious. I feel like there was like a couple comedic moments, but this feels a little bit lighter, especially when we have some of the heavier themes come in. So I think this is a really great contrast that they have within the show, and I hope they lean more into that.
It's a bit camp, but we'll go with it.
So as they're getting ready for the gala, Ember, Ruby's sister, has designed another dress for her for this event. And she's like, okay, so since I gave you, you know, this dress, I'm hoping that you're going to invite me to the event. And Ruby's like, oh, well, this is invitation only. I'm like, Ruby, okay. Now, since the first time, okay, when she was supposed to wear the dress in season 1 to the Victorian party event, and the dress was caught on fire, and she wasn't able to wear that. Okay, that was just heartbreak, you know, in itself. And now you're telling her she has made this dress for you, and it looks amazing, and you're telling her you can't come to the event. I feel that's not right. I feel like you could go up to the school easily and be like, hey, you know, this is my sister here. She's gonna be help working the event. You know, can we help, you know, secure her, ticket for her? Be an advocate for your sister, okay? But like Ruby's like, oh, I don't know, like, and I know that you're not all about this elitist stuff. I'm like, it doesn't matter. She's your sister. Help her out. She's helping you out. You help her out. You know what I'm saying? So I'm glad that she was able to get an invitation to this, because that way, you know, they're supporting each other. So then finally we get to the day of the gala, and they realized that their principal didn't lock down the school correctly, even though they told him to like do this like certain thing, and then he got distracted. So then there was a like electrical wire issue, which it looked like, I'm like, did the fire department come in? And they all have to come together as a school to put on this event, and they were able to do so within 3 hours. I'm like, I know this is fantasy. I know this is not, it's not like fantasy, but you really have to kind of suspend belief into thinking, unless you had like a lot of resources to, you know, turn this around. But they're able to, you know, to do so. I was like, I'm happy for them, but like, I'm like, you would at least need 8 hours. Because they're like, I said, could you do it in 4 hours? I was like, doesn't, within the air of like, wouldn't it smell burnt? And then people come and be like, I'm like, are they gonna have to spray some type of like Febreze? I don't know. And I was like, is it a safety violation? Where is, you know, the electrical wiring? Like, when they have to, but you know, it's a show. We're gonna suspend belief. And then we have James going up there telling his story about what he's been going through and how that basically therapy has helped him approach how to express his emotions instead of suppressing them, and that hopefully his story can impact other people to do so as well, and also donate to the Alice Campbell Foundation. But while he's doing this, his father Mortimer is just furious because he knows what the board and then the stock market, what they're going to think of this. And it is sad that when people are telling their story, sharing their story, and also how they're seeking help, that they're like, oh, then the company is not stable and not in good hands. Which I'm like, I just think that's such an antiquated way of thinking of like, if someone is seeking out help and willing to go through that process and being brave and courageous to do so, then why are you having that reflect bad financially? So then Mortimer is trying to get him out of there because he's trying to save his company, save the family's name. But if he just stood by his son and was like, you know, we're all, you know, doing this work to help and support each other, then I'm like, I think that would be better press, you know, for your company. You know, I feel like we need to call on Olivia Pope for that, because I'm like, I think we could turn this around, Mortimer, if you just had open mind. So I'm really curious what they do for the rest of the season, because we have the morally great aunt. Like, for me, I'm like, I don't know if I can trust Ophelia. Like, I'm like, okay, she good, she bad. I feel like morally great character. We have Ember and her fashion and her new possible relationship with that cute guy. Also for Alistair, that cute guy as well for him. Like, I'm like, I want, yeah, more of these relationships explored throughout the show other than James and Ruby. And then what else? Lydia, like what she's gonna go through and what she's gonna do. Cause she having twins, like that's gonna be a lot. But also I want her to see her pursuing her fashion career as well. Like, what if Lydia and Ember, like, they team up? Because, you know, she followed her on her Instagram page, and then Ember really likes fashion. Like, what if she had her to bring her as a new designer, like a newcomer? I could see that happen. So, you know, there's a lot of things to explore on the show. So let me know in the comments down below what you are thinking ahead for the season. Remember, no spoilers, because I haven't read the book and maybe some other people haven't read the book either. So no spoiler in the comments, but just kind of theories of what you think is going to happen for the rest of the season. And if you could do me a favor and subscribe, because we're going to talk about more Maxton Hall on the channel. So go ahead and click that button, and then you'll be updated on everything that's going on, which this segment I'm calling Hall of Gossip. Yeah, So this is going to be really fun and interesting to talk about. So I hope you have a comfy, cozy rest of your day. Bye.